I predicted wrong. All right. New plan. We do not do our 5-degree turn, and we just go straight up until we release our first stage. Okay. Here we go. And targeting Mars again. Hey, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. We're going to get this rover to Mars. Okay, so we're just going to go straight up. These parts are probably going to come back and destroy the launch pad, but that is something I am willing to risk. Okay, we are past 100 meters per second. Alright, keeping nice and steady, passing 2-kilometer altitude. And we have a healthy apoapse height so far. Alright, stand by for first stage booster set. After we get rid of the first set of radial boosters, we're going to go ahead and begin our gravity turn. And stage step away. And we're still intact. Woohoo! Alright, now let's go ahead and begin our turn here. We really need to turn ourselves in a hurry here because we are past 10 kilometers. We're going to turn ourselves very carefully. And we're going to turn on our orbital speed indicator here. Actually, we're going to turn on our surface indicator. And we're going to wait until our prograde marker dips a little bit closer towards our center line here. Okay, turn ourselves to 45 degrees. Okay, we're at 22 degrees. Need to get ourselves to 45 degrees. Come on, buddy. Come on. Okay, we're almost there, and we're at 45 degrees. Whew, we don't want to turn too quickly. Otherwise, the aerodynamics are going to flip our rocket over, and we don't have any fins or any stabilization features on this rocket. So we just got to be pretty careful about that. All right, now switching to orbital speed indicator. Okay, we are high enough in the atmosphere that it looks like we're going to be okay. So let's go ahead and turn ourselves a little further down. And we're going to turn ourselves to 30 degrees above the horizon. And releasing next stage. Okay, radial booster stage is away. You know what? I should have loaded our previous game. I already saved our craft while we were in orbit. And I could still do it now, but you know what? We're already launched. We'll just go ahead and do our thing right now. I probably should have reloaded. Next time, though, if we crash our vehicle or something, we're going to reload instead of launching the rocket from the beginning again. Okay, here we are. Now, let's go ahead and turn ourselves to 5 degrees above the horizon. Okay, looking beautiful. Okay, so we are above most of the atmosphere here. So the rarefied atmosphere should have very little effect on our aerodynamics here. So we could probably more freely move about here. Okay, 5 degrees above the horizon, and we're looking good. We're going to lift our rocket up to about 10 degrees. There we go. Okay, good. Looking beautiful here. We're past 3 kilometers per second. Our horizontal velocity is looking really good here. Our horizontal speed is dipping pretty healthy. We have a pretty healthy dip in our vertical velocity. Our vertical speed. Okay, and we are fast approaching 4 kilometers per second. Okay, we're going to dip our rocket down to 0 degrees above the horizon. Actually, we need to lift it up to 5 degrees right now. Time to apoapse is a little bit unhealthy here. All right, and releasing next set of radial boosters. Okay, There we go. And lifting ourselves to 10 degrees above the horizon. All right, one of the interesting things I noticed about our launch here is we never reached max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on the top of the rocket. So we didn't, apparently we didn't get a whole lot of atmospheric drag on the launch, which probably saved us a lot of fuel, but probably didn't because we had a pretty slow start. Who knows? Okay, so looks like we're looking pretty good here. We're going to keep the aeroshell on until we get to Mars. We're going to need this aeroshell here to help us when we do some aero braking. Okay, we're at 5 kilometers per second, and we are now in space here, guys. We are in space. Okay, I'm going to turn ourselves over to 5 degrees above the horizon. Let's turn to 0 degrees, actually. There we go. Okay, 0 degrees. Time to apoapse is down to 36 seconds, which is okay. We're increasing speed fast enough that we should be able to get ourselves into orbit long before we hit the apoapse. Okay, here we go, passing 6,200 meters per second. All right, we are looking beautiful here, guys. Okay, and as you can see, time to apoapse is now starting to increase. So we're going to go ahead and drop our engine power just a tad bit. There we are. Okay. Perfect. All right. So we are almost in orbit here. Looks like we're doing pretty good for ourselves. Look at that. Beautiful. We have pretty much a textbook launch going on here. And we're going to decrease thrust again. Drop ourselves to 10% thrust because we are well past the required velocity in order to get us into a stable orbit. So all it takes is just little pinprick maneuvers of thrust in order to get ourselves into a stable orbit. Okay, almost there, guys. Okay, and let's go ahead and go for MECO, main engine cutoff, and we're going to coast ourselves towards one more burn to inject ourselves into low Earth orbit. Gonna zip along a little bit here. There we go. We're now at less than 20 seconds to apoapse, so we can go ahead and start our burn. So we're gonna increase thrust to about 10% thrust. Nice. Looking beautiful. Okay, and we're almost to orbit here. Okay, and we almost have a periapse here, guys. Almost a positive periapse. There we go. We now have a proper periapse. And camera shift indicating that we are now getting into orbit. And there we are. We have a nice stable orbit. Woo! Okay. So we're going to F5 to save. And what we got to do next is now we're going to go ahead and begin our maneuver node to Mars. Let's go ahead and set up that maneuver node. Okay. Here we go. Now when I look at the delta V requirements here on this maneuver node as I try to get to, as we set up our transition to Mars, sometimes feel a little bit discouraged. Because you see the enormous amount of delta V required to get this job done. And it's just, oh my goodness. It is incredible. And you wonder and you hope and you hope and hope that you have enough delta V to get this job done. Okay, so nothing yet. Okay, so we don't have anything yet. Let's move this out this way. That way we have less of a chance of burning into the earth when we begin our maneuver node burn. Wait a minute. Oh, man. But that screws up the amount of delta V we need to get there. We want to try to keep it under 5,000 delta V. This is terrible, guys. Okay, hopefully that's going to be good enough. Did we get something? Do we have something? Not yet. Okay. Come on. Come on, show us some arrows. Show us some arrows. Okay, the suspense is killing me. Okay, and... no arrows yet. Okay. I'm keeping my eyeballs up here, trying to look for some frame of reference that'll give me some sort of... come on. Show me something here, guys. Don't make this too hard for me. I know this mod is incredibly hard. But there's got to be something here you can give me. Give me something. Okay. Come on. Let's see here. Okay, so I know I got Mars selected. Just kind of playing around in the dark here. I should probably download a mod that can help me better plot my trajectories here. But we can do this. We can do... oh, we found something. There was something. Okay, there was a glimmer, a flash of arrows, if you will. Just gotta find that again. Come on. There it is. There it is. That's all we really need right now. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna fiddle around with these two buttons here. Try to get ourselves a little bit closer to where we need to go. Okay, that's going to have to do. And once again, it looks like this will require me to burn into the planet. So this might not feel too good. Gosh. Let's see here. If we turn our craft... this thing is a beast to turn. Okay, and if we turn towards the maneuver node... okay, so my hope is that this maneuver node isn't dipped too far below the horizon when it comes time for us to burn. Because then we're going to have the same problem. And that's not going to be a good thing. Okay, so turning off SAS, and we're just going to drift the rocket naturally towards the node. Okay. There we go. Good deal. And now we begin our time warp to the other side of the planet. Come on, baby. Show me some good news. We really want to make sure that this maneuver node is above the horizon when it comes time for us to burn. Yes! Okay, good. All right. Now we can burn. We can begin our node transition burn without the worry that we're going to burn into the planet Earth and find ourselves stumbling back into the atmosphere. Thank goodness. Okay, SAS on and begin our burn. Let's go to Mars, guys. Going to Mars. Okay. We're definitely going to have to do a mid-course correction after we leave the influence of Earth here. And we should be out of fuel in this stage any moment now. Okay, and decoupling. And beginning burn. Alright, so we got another 2 minutes in our burn here. Now keep in mind, guys, the total delta V requirement is almost 19,000 meters per second in order for us to get to Mars. And we have roughly 14,000 meters per second delta V. So we're going to have pretty heavy reliance on aerobraking to get us there. Alright, so let me see here. Alright, so burn is looking good. Good, we've got a healthy transition here. We are not falling back into the horizon or anything. Which is a good thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, our burn is looking good. We're almost done here. Okay. And we almost have... Almost done. 5 seconds? Okay, so I'm going to go and turn that off. And then... we're just going to kitty cat our way. Just very small burns here. There it is. Okay, perfect. F5 to save. Alright, what we're going to do here now is we're going to do some little fine-tune corrections here. We're going to see if we can do just a little bit of some fine-tuning so that we can get these two arrows a little bit closer to each other. Okay, so that didn't quite work out. We lost those arrows for just a bit. Okay, let's turn... what would happen if we were to turn ourselves southward? I think we're a little bit too north of our intercept here. Okay, 90 degrees? Is that going to work? Let's see here. There it is. Okay, we got something. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let ourselves drift out of the influence of Earth here. There we are. Alright, goodbye, Earth. We'll catch you later. Alright, and now we are in orbit around the sun. Nice. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to reload so we can get rid of some of this RAM leakage. There we are. And we are looking good. So what we're going to do next is I am going to limit the thrust of this engine here. We're going to drop it down to about 10%. What this does for us is not only conserves fuel, but helps us better to fine-tune our intercept with Mars. Because at these huge astronomical distances, we need to be cognizant of the idea that just the slightest burn can completely, slightest misuse of a burn can throw us completely awry here. Okay, so I'm gonna do all sorts of funky little things here. There we go. Let me see. So I'm gonna turn ourselves slightly north. What would happen if we were to burn, what is it, anti-normal? Anti-radial? Radial? Anti-radial? Let's see what happens. Okay, so that does something. Okay. There we go. Alright, so that's not dropping us anywhere near enough. Let's go ahead and set up another maneuver node and see if we can do a little bit more of a reliable mid-course transition burn here. Okay, so there's that. Whoops. Alright. Let's get these two arrows as close as we can get it. Oh, look at that. We're looking beautiful. We might, in fact, be able to get an intercept on this mid-course correction here. Ah, look at that. Okay, perfect. Only requires a whole 1200 delta V. Oh my god. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our vessel here. We have a delta V left of 2200. All right, we can still do this, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and increase the thrust limiter again to 100%. Turn ourselves to the maneuver node. F5 for safety. And even though it says we're 1 day to our node, we're just going to go and begin our burn now. Here we go. Okay, this may have been a bad idea. But we'll know in a second. Okay. Yeah, I think this was a bad idea. All right. Let's go ahead and reload again. My goodness. Okay, let's fix that. Oh, hey, what do you know? It saved the node, too. All right, cool deal. All right, so we're going to go ahead and coast ourselves then. Let's go ahead and turn off the limiter on the engine. Good. Engine limiter is off. And we're just going to go ahead and coast to the day that we have to begin our burn. There we go. All right, 46 minutes. So I believe it said that we have a 40-second burn coming up. So we'll go ahead and do that. Here we go. And burning away. Okay, we have 22 seconds left on the burn. Come on, Mars, here we come. 14, 13, 10. Looking beautiful. All right, let's go and turn ourselves just a tad bit. Come on, we can do this. 2 seconds. Okay, and here we go. Okay, separation is good. Hey, we've got an intercept with Mars. Nice. And how much fuel did we use up? Okay, so we still have a pretty good, decent amount of fuel. We're going to go ahead and quick save this puppy here. We have a weird little Mars encounter going on here, though. Let's see here. We have no Apple apps, so it's a pretty good chance. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fast forward here. One of the things I really like about the real solar system mod is the time warping aspect of it. When you time warp, you go really, really fast. Unfortunately, in the stock version of the game, if you were plotting to go to, say, Jewel, or if you're plotting to go to Duna or something, on maximum time warp, it takes a good stint of time before you get there. Even when you get the time warp pushed all the way to max. However, in real solar system, the time warp is set up in such a way where it takes no time at all to get to where you need to go. Thank goodness. Okay. So, now that we are here, this will give me a chance to see what we got going on. Alright. So, what we're going to do from here is, let's see what would happen if I finagle this a little bit here. Because we really need to get into the planet's atmosphere here for aero brake. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's turn ourselves southward. Okay, so we're going to turn our rocket south. There it is, to 180 degrees. And we're going to burn. There we go. I really wish I had an Apple. I wish I had a Periapps here that I could see. There it is. There's a Periapps. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark that. And now we're going to play the micromanaging game. And we're going to try to lower the number on that Periapps as much as we can. So we're just going to give this thing some very slight burns. There we go. Are we on fuel? Fuel's looking good. Okay. We are now below 200 million meters. I believe the atmospheric transition on Mars is pretty similar to Earth. It's 130 kilometers. So we want to get ourselves pretty well below that so that we can do a proper aero brake. Okay, so we're looking good. F5 for safety. And what would happen if we were to go 90 degrees? Ah, okay. There we are, looking good. Zoom in just slightly. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful. And, okay, so we got our Periapps looking good. Let's go ahead and what would happen if I were to shift us northward? Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to burn just slightly north. Now, as you see, we're using our jets very sparingly. We're moving at about 5 degrees thrust here. Try to conserve as much fuel as possible. Okay. Good. And let's switch on over to 270. Ooh. Okay, that's not working. Oh, I think we need to get ourselves moving prograde again here. So let's go ahead and switch to 90 degrees. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. Much better. Okay. So next up, going to turn ourselves north. Getting that number smaller here. We're putting a pretty good dent on this number here. Want to try to get it we want to try to get this into the atmosphere. So North, 90 degrees again. $10 million meters. Okay, turn ourselves north again. 5 million meters. We're almost there, guys. We're going to turn ourselves to 90 degrees again. Woo! Look at that. 300,000. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to hit F5, and we're going to go ahead and turn on the thrust limiter. We're going to put down our thrust limiter down to 9%. There we go. Okay. And we're going to see if we can get ourselves into the atmosphere. We are at 336,000 meters on the periaps here. So all we got to do is just give it a little bit more of a burn. And that should get us a little bit closer in. As you can see, I'm at 5% of 9% of thrust. That means we're pushing along at probably around 1 kilonewton of thrust. And it's making all the difference here. See, there it is. We're now at 70,000 meters on the periaps, which means we are inside the atmosphere of the Earth. Inside the atmosphere of Mars. So now we can do proper aero braking. However, we want to be lower than 70 kilometers. So we're just going to scooch ourselves a little bit closer to Mars here. Okay, and we're going to enter on the retrograde of the planet. Part of the reason why I want to enter on the planet's retrograde rather than the prograde, and when I mean retrograde, I mean on this side facing towards the sun, so that we can land on the daylight side of Mars. I'm not a big fan of nighttime landings. All right, here we go. And we're going to scooch ourselves a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to dip ourselves even further into the atmosphere. So we're going to dip this periaps a little bit deeper into the atmosphere. F5 for safety again. And we're going to drop ourselves to roughly, not 24, a little bit higher than that. Let's shoot for about 27 kilometers. 29, that's way too high. Okay, again, let's turn ourselves around again. I'm going to limit the thrust even more. So let's go ahead and drop this down to about 6% thrust. Yeah, we'll do 6% thrust. All right, we'll go and fine-tune that once we get into the influence of Mars here. Here we go. Mars encounter in 2 days, 1 day, 12 hours. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Look at that. Now we've got a Mars encounter. All right. We're going to be coming in from the north here. All right. So what we're going to do is we need to drop this. We want to land somewhere decent to the equator. So we're going to go ahead and go 270. Not 270. We're going to drop ourselves southward. So we're going to turn to 180 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and increase the limit on the thruster here. Okay, 5.5% is close enough. And we need to turn 180 degrees. So we're going to turn south. And that's going to lower this periaps down towards the equator. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay. There we are. Now we need to start lifting the periaps. So periaps is at 25 kilometers. I think that might actually do it. Actually, let's see here. What would happen if we were to burn this direction? Nope, wrong direction. We're going to go ahead and burn anti-radially here. Okay. And then we're going to turn 270. 270 degrees. And we need to lift this back up to... Oh, poop. My bad. We need to turn 90 degrees. Okay, and we're going to lift this back up to 25 kilometers here. Almost there. There it is. 26 kilometers? I guess that's close enough. Let's try this for... We really need to want to bring us down to 25 kilometers. Tiny numbers are important in real solar system. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and head on over here. And let's go ahead and time warp. See what happens, guys. Okay. Okay, should be approaching Mars in a little bit here. Where is that guy? If we turn retrograde, Mars should be down there. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Turn stability assist on. And Mars should be coming right on us here. Woo! There it is. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so we should be coming up somewhere near the equator. Okay, looking good. All right, so we're about to hit atmospheric transfer. The atmosphere kicks in at about roughly 130 kilometers here. Now, we're going to skip the whole transfer into orbit bit, and we're just going to land this puppy. So we should probably land somewhere around here. We're going to aero brake like no one's business here. So we want to keep our shell on here. There it is. Now we see a little bit of an atmosphere. Coming in nice and easy. Ooh. One thing that real solar system always surprises me about is how huge these planets are. As a matter of fact, I think Mars in this game is actually bigger than Kerbal. So this planet is ginormous. Okay. Here we go. We are now in atmosphere. All right. So what we're going to do next is... First off, we're going to go ahead and... Okay, guys, we may have to end up reloading this multiple times, depending on how often we crash or destroy ourselves. But first off, we're going to go and eject our engine. There we go. And our aero shield is now exposed. Now we have our ablator shield here to help protect us. And then we have our outer shell here to help protect us on the entry as well. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth, guys. I think this is what NASA called the 8 minutes of terror. We're about to puncture our way into the atmosphere here. Our surface velocity is over 5 kilometers per second. Actually, about 6 kilometers per second. Here we go. So we have a lot of speed we need to bleed off. Now here's the scary part. We're right up against the mountains here. So there's a decent chance that we may end up crashing into the elevations here if we're not too careful. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so we're getting good atmospheric entry burn here. Coming in real good. Alright, want to keep ourselves turned retrograde. And there's our engine stage zipping by. Okay, we're not slowing down fast enough here. Come on, baby. Ooh, this isn't a good thing. We're probably going to crash into the planet. Let's go and lift our shell up. Okay. Ooh, oh, this isn't good. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay, so now we're captured. Gonna switch our camera over to free view mode here. Okay, any moment now. Apoapsis height. Okay, we're looking good. Looking good. Still need to slow down in a hurry here. Ooh, that terrain is catching up to us real good. Okay. Woo! Alright, so as you can see, we're now starting to gain altitude again. Thank goodness. I was really worried about that. Part of what makes, at least here in Kerbal Space Program, when I try to land on Mars, part of what makes a really good, healthy aero capture, or rather aero brake, followed by an aero capture, followed by an atmospheric landing, is when you skip back up into the stratosphere rather than keep on dipping in a constant arc into the planet. And so as you can see, our arc we're now starting to gain altitude again, which is really good. That gives us a little more time to bleed off more speed here. Okay. Looking good. Yeah, and we're still going to land on the daylight side, which is perfect. If we can land here on this dark side, on this really low elevation, that would be perfect. Because the atmosphere is thick enough there that our parachutes will be able to work more efficiently. Okay, and as soon as we hit roughly about 2,500 meters per second, we're going to begin our powered brake, our powered landing. Hopefully we're going to be okay on this one. Because this is a tense moment here for us, guys. Landing only with stock parts. Okay, so we're approaching Apoaps. We're deploying the shell. Aero shell is deployed. And I'm going to disengage this torque wheel here. We're going to use the torque wheel back here. That'll help us to stabilize us a little bit. Stand by. And 2,500 meters per second. 24. Altitude at 15 kilometers. We need to slow down in a hurry here. So we're ejecting our aero shell. Come on, baby. Slow us down. Okay, slow down, slow down, slow down. Our altitude is a false altitude because we are, in fact, 13 kilometers above the terrain. So this is going to be really bad for us here in a second. Okay, so our vertical speed, we need to drop that vertical speed in a hurry. So I'm going to turn ourselves over just a bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to try to drop our vertical speed to somewhere around 50 meters per second. And once we reach that speed, we can start opening up the parachutes. Okay. Looking good. Looking beautiful here, guys. Okay, we are at negative 20 meters per second vertical speed, so we're looking good. So now we just need to bleed off this horizontal speed here. We're almost at the right speed to let loose our chutes. What we're going to do is we're going to go and let loose our drogue chutes. Okay. All right, so... Okay, we have a bit of a problem here, guys. Gosh. I should have edited those parachutes. Because parachutes are not going to work here on Mars. Because of the way a real solar system was built. And we don't have a whole lot of fuel left. So we may end up crashing. Okay, and... here we go. Oh. Oh, that was a tense landing there. Part of the reasons why the parachutes don't work on a real solar system Mars here is because, first off, let's get rid of this. Let's see if we can scooch ourselves off. There we go. Okay. Part of the reason why that doesn't work, the parachutes don't work unless you edit them, is because the Martian atmosphere is so rarefied that it's below the parachute opening requirements of the stock parachutes themselves. The stock parachutes require roughly about 0.02 atmospheric pressure in order to open. However, the atmospheric pressure on Mars here is about roughly 1/1000th. So the only way you're going to be able to get those parachutes to open is if you go and edit the actual parachutes themselves, and you set it so that they can open with 0 atmospheric pressure or really small atmospheric pressure. But as you can see, we finally landed. We're not exactly on a very... we busted one of our wheels on the landing, unfortunately. Not one of my better landings. But that's okay, though. We made it here on relatively one piece, and that was pretty awesome. Let's take a look and see if there's actually any ore or anything to be found on the surface. And actually, there is. 5% average on the ore surface. That is enough for us to mine ore here. In the stock version of the game... in the stock version, well, actually, in this version of the game, too, if you want to ore stuff, you have to, if you want to mine ore, it has to be above, I believe, 2.5%. So there is more than enough ore in this area for us to be able to mine stuff. Let's perform for Midlands. Cool. Look at that. And we were so close here to the little valley over here as well. Oh well. That's okay though. So, oh wait. Remember when I told you that real solar system is bugged? There it is. So, part of the reason why I don't play real solar system a whole lot is because of all these weird little rampant bugs. And one of the big bugs here, especially for Mars, is that you have a tendency to fall through the surface of the planet and straight down into the core. Like what's happening right now. As you can see, my altitude is dropping like crazy here. And at some point, altitude is going to hit 0, and it's going to increase again. So let's speed up time a little bit here, and I'll show you. The eternal fall through Mars. Okay, so 5 kilometers. We're almost to sea level. As you can see, we're still here, but the camera is slowly starting to dip as we. Okay, there it is. See, now we're at negative altitude. We are 3 kilometers below sea level, 5 kilometers below sea level. Eventually, we're going to probably hit the core of Mars, and then physics will probably go crazy. The Kraken is going to swallow this rover whole, and it's going to explode. Oh, well. But at least we made it to Mars, right, guys? Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for coming in to catch this broadcast here today. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all next time.